The COVID pandemic left many of us thrust out of our comfort zones. We were thrown into very unfamiliar waters. We didn't know what to do. We were clamoring for new things to do because perhaps we were a bit afraid of the unknown. The disease was very scary. So our guest today, he'll tell us if he's one of those who was thrown out of his comfort zone, because he's a retired engineer. But during the COVID pandemic, when he retired, he wrote a book, published it, and it went ahead to win the Africa Redefined Indie Book Award, a prize managed by Mystery Publishers and designed for self-published authors. Karibu sana, engineer.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
First things first, what are you reading at the moment?
Well, I have just been finishing the book called Morality. It's written by a rabbi, Jonathan Sachs. It's actually one of the best books I've read in a long time.
What is it about?
It's about morality. It's about morality. It has tried to review why the world has gone from we to I, and therefore led to a decline in morality in the whole world.
Okay, I'll take that as a recommendation. I'm going to look for it. Morality by Jonathan Sachs. All right, so engineer, you're a published author. First, you're an engineer, retired. 40 years later, you come back and write a book that does so well that it wins an award. Has it sunk in yet that you are now an author? Like when you introduce yourself, do you say engineer Peter Nduati and also an author? Or are you asking us to stop calling you engineer?
No, you have to call me engineer author.
Yes, engineer author.
I started as an engineer.
Yes.
Authorship is just an addition.
It's an addition.
Yes.
How does that feel? How does that feel? Because these are like two very diverse fields, because you don't write, your book is not a scientific book. It's a memoir about your life, and maybe tell us a little bit about that.
The book is about my life and your life, because it's about my everyday experiences, which everybody has gone through, looking back toward to my past. So it's both my life today and my life many years ago, all put into one. So that's why I say it's not just my book, it's your book. If you read it, you are about to find episodes of your life in it.
I have read it, and quite honestly, I saw a lot of it. And one of the things I was fascinated with was you make very ordinary, everyday stuff look extraordinary, and you made me start looking at things from a different angle. Would you say it's your storytelling prowess, or is it extraordinary anyway?
Well, I think that's I consider that to be a compliment.
It is,
because I never started as a storyteller.
yeah.
I did literature over 40 years ago. So I'm just restarting. But it's the inspiration. I think it's more inspiration than programmed. It's not something that I set and planned. The inspiration came in as I wrote.
What initially inspired you, really? What that point you said, okay, I need to write? Is it the emails with your daughter? Maybe you'll tell us a bit about that. The emails to your daughter. Is it COVID, like we said in the intro? Was it the COVID, that thing that made you think, oh, maybe I could leave these stories behind?
Well, I always wrote emails to my daughter, and she said,
which is really sweet, I must say that.
And she thought they were nice emails. I used to write emails to my relatives, some in Italy and America, and in the 90s, and they thought the emails were good. And years ago, I used to write letters to my wife, and she loved them, but I didn't know that I'm an author. That is something which has evolved.
Yeah.
It has come maybe over the last 3 years or so.
So do you think it's the people around you who knew you were an author, but you, because engineer, author, It didn't hit you?
No, exactly, because they saw my potential. And as a result, they actually sponsored me for this masterclass writing course by Biko Zuru. She was in the UK a student, and they colluded with my daughter-in-law, whom we have a very good relationship, that for my birthday that year, which is 2021, they would actually not buy me anything. They would not buy me any socks, any tie, any shoes,
Any golf clubs?
any golf clubs or any of the things that you'd normally buy. So they actually paid for my masterclass writing course with Biko Zuru and said, oh, that's your birthday gift. So it was kind of a surprise. I didn't know who Biko Zuru is. I didn't know about masterclass writing and all that. So it was kind of a trap, I may call it. That's what I've called
Because
it.
you couldn't say no.
I couldn't say no.
Yes.
If somebody has bought you a gift, you can't say no. So I had no option but to actually take the gift gracefully.
At what point did you, if you did, realize that it was a good thing to take that class, to accept that present?
Well, after attending the course and starting to write, I realized actually it was an eye-opener. Not so much that it came up with new ideas or whatever, but it inspired me.
That's the other thing. That was a question on its own, because I needed to know, because your book is a beautifully done and it's hilarious memoir. And I kept wondering, was it because you attended the classes? Would you have written such a beautiful presentation if you had not attended Biko? Like, what do you think Biko actually did for you?
I would never have written.
You would never have
I would
written.
never have written the book the way I did. I would probably have written our family story, which was always at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Because I did a family tea about 30, 40 years ago. So I actually have that story.
Yeah.
But I would never have written it that way. I would have written it according to contemporary autobiographies or biographies.
Yeah. Yes.
But by attending the course, it actually gave me an opening, a lightning, what do you call it? Eureka moment.
Yeah.
I can still give my story.
Yes.
But in a different way.
And it worked. I can tell you that as a consumer, it really worked. It was hilarious. The first chapter, you speak about how, of course, your daughter called you and you had to go for this class, and then you are wondering if Biko is a con man because he hasn't called. And tell me, how did he react to that? How did he react to what did he say about that particular chapter? Because it looked like you were making fun of him, and I was cringing, not in a bad way, because I know he can take a joke, but I'm cringing because I'm thinking, gosh, this is such a big, he's such a big force in the literary world, and somebody is saying all these things about him, and, it looks like you were making fun of him. I'm curious.
Well, I didn't know him.
You did not know it, so you were telling the truth.
So I was telling the truth.
Yes.
I didn't know Biko Zuru before masterclass.
Yes.
So whatever is in the story is a fact. So I believe that he should not have taken it too badly.
Yeah.
If anything, it has uplifted him.
Oh, it has.
It has immortalized him more. Yes. So it was never done in jest.
Yeah.
It was done in fact.
So he hasn't spoken to you?
He has not really talked to me about it. He has a book. I have been waiting. I gave him a book, a copy of the book.
Biko, if you're watching this, I would like to know what you think about that first chapter. I'm so curious about it. It's awesome. Tell me, engineer, do you still do your 10,000 steps a day?
After COVID, I'm not able to keep up the 10,000.
How many do you do? About?
At least 5,000, 7,000, 8,000.
Why did COVID stop you?
Yeah, because one of my greatest inspirations is back to work, my spouse.
Yeah.
So I'm no
She's
longer
not
able
there.
to walk with her.
That's the other thing I picked because your book is a fusion of different things. There's the family, there's work, there's everybody else, there's business out there, what you observe. But one of the things we could not ignore, I could not ignore, was the force that is your wife. Like she felt like a soft power to you. So I'm not surprised that you're not walking as much as you used to. But what does she think about that? That you're not doing that?
Well, the thing is, I've got so many other interests. Yeah? So it's not that I'm not doing exercise. Yeah? I'm supervising some construction for my son.
Right.
I'm doing tree planting. I go to the
You'll
farm.
tell us a bit about that.
So it's not entirely out of context.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, to do 10,000, you actually need a motivator.
Yeah.
Somebody to walk with.
Yes, because 10,000 is about 7 kilometers, by
Yeah,
the way.
7 kilometers. I still try to meet it once in a while, but it's not a daily exercise.
It's not a daily exercise.
It's not the same way I used to do during COVID.
Yeah.
When I could wake up in the morning with her, and if I don't follow her, she's gone.
Yeah.
So, so you need a motivator.
You need a motivator. I should know. I'm a hiker, so I know how important motivators are. Are you working on another book? Are we waiting for something else?
Well, actually, I've had a number of comments from the readers telling me, when are you going to write the next book?
Yes.
In fact, that's one of the encouraging things.
Yes.
I remember one of my friends, Dr. Rajo Kamau, read the book and she said, "Thank you very much, engineer, for giving me an interest in reading again."
That is awesome.
So when are we going to get the next book?
When?
That was the comment she sent. My neighbor is a German. He read through the book and exactly he wrote the same thing. He said, "Oh, I don't know why you went to engineering. You should actually have been an author from the outset.
Yes.
When are we getting the next book?" All those comments are in my phone. But Ciku, you know, writing requires inspiration. You need some inspiration.
What kind of inspiration are you?
It's like, I read the Bible and there's a book of, say, Revelation, written by John. He was in an island, Patmos, and he got this angel and he saw a revelation and he wrote the whole book. So writing sometimes requires that kind of inspiration.
It does, but Guka, you're surrounded by nature. Our viewers would might not know, but you are an avid and an enthusiastic indigenous tree planter. That has not hit a button anywhere?
No, it is. I have a number of episodes already down the line, you know. I have, I think, 7 episodes, but now I have to put them together.
So you are writing, you're noting down things. That is very encouraging. So we are waiting.
And now I'm also doing a bit of poetry.
Nice.
Something which I had not done before. So my next book might actually
be a poetry book.
It may be a combination of prose and poetry.
Okay.
Something
we are here for it. I am personally here for it. I would like to read more work from you. Let's talk about let me show our viewers. This is the original book. Please don't mind about it's a bit with a bit, and it's been read by my whole family. And then there's this, so you can see the difference in sizes and everything, but the story is the same. Now, what Engineer has done is after this book, he translated the book into Braille. This is not Braille. He translated the book into Braille, and he also did a simplified version for younger readers, which is like super awesome. This is something I'd like to do. But let's talk a little about Braille. Why did you decide to translate it to Braille? I don't think anybody else has done that for, it's not a fact. I'm just thinking I haven't had anybody who's done Braille for novels.
I think I'd rather start with the children's book.
Okay, let's do it.
the children's book was actually inspired by my grandchildren.
Yes.
When I finished this book, they started reading. They said the book is too big. They were only 8 and 10.
Yeah.
So, Wuka, why don't you write a smaller book for us? So that's what inspired me to actually summarize the stories in the adult book into something which is short for the children. So you will find that in the adult book, say the runner's diet there is maybe about 10 pages. But to make it readable to children, I have summarized it only in 1 page. If you go to the adult book, you'll find that these illustrations are colored. So I realized children want interaction. So why not remove the coloring and make it an interactive book so they can color and be part of the process. So the whole story there, which is about 10 pages, has been summarized into just that short story.
And 3 pictures.
And 3 pictures. If you go to the adult book, you go to this page, you see actually it is colored.
Yeah, most of these are...
No, all of them are colored, except the animals. That will be page... yeah, you see? No, you see, like that is colored. But in the children's book, story number 7 is not colored.
So the child has to color it themselves.
So that the child has an activity.
And they actually also have the questions here, where they talk about what they've read in the book.
No, the second thing is, after I did that, I realized it's actually an opportunity to mentor the children. And that's why I came up with the questions. But to answer the questions, as a parent or teacher, you need to read the big book.
True.
Because most of the questions require you to read the big book to actually answer the questions. So this is actually an attempt to get parents involved in reading.
Yes.
They don't delegate reading to children only, that they too should read. So after developing those questions, I realized I can actually give a bit of my Wuka knowledge as a mentorship opportunity. So for every story now, I came up with a lesson. You can see like this one, Footprints to Fame. There is a lesson at the end of the story. Wuka lesson. Read stories of famous and great people. They will tell you how those people handled problems. This will assist you in dealing with your own problems. That is a lesson that I have developed from this, and which I would like the parent and the child to see whether it is consistent with the story.
Okay.
So
how is the feedback?
A few people have written back and said they are happy. But I haven't had a negative feedback so far.
What was your target age?
If you read my book, it is targeted 6 to 13 years old.
6 to 13.
That is the age which I hope will be using this book.
Yeah.
Because that is the age where we can make an impact.
True.
There is a growing body of knowledge that supports the fact that young children love activities, such as the ones that this book is designed to promote. Young children communicate their feelings and thoughts through pictures. In this book, an activity is kicked off by giving the sneak preview of a story. The children then color the illustrations. These illustrations are best for children aged 6 to 12 years. Some children can even improve on the illustrations the way my granddaughter has been doing. So even your 13-year-old can use the same stories and improve the picture. They should not be confined to the limits of the picture. I have a guarantee. If you finish the book and you are not happy and you have colored it, bring it back.
You'll give me another one.
No. I'll pay you back.
Okay, I like that.
I pay you back.
Yeah.
For the children's book, I pay you 50% because I cannot reuse it.
Yes.
But for the adult book, I'll pay you 100%.
No, this one I've already,
100%.
read it, so I'm good.
100%. But you have to write me a 1,000-word report.
There's a catch.
There is a catch because
I might come and say, I've read, but I haven't.
yes,
that is true.
So I want a 1,000-word report which supports
my argument that
your
I do
argument.
not like it.
So I have a way of improving.
You're a teacher, ni mwalimu. You're just making us work hard. Tell us about the Braille then.
Having finished this book, it was during COVID. I went to the Public Service Club and I went to have a massage. My masseur is blind. And she asked me, "Engineer, where have you been all through COVID?" I told her, "Oh, you know, I've written a book, a children's book." That's when she told me, "You know, even blind people here have no books to read. Can you please transcribe it for the blind?" I said, "Okay, I'll go to Nairobi West, where they have the school for the blind, and I'll talk to them." And I went to Nairobi West for the bride, and I talked to them. I didn't get much reception, but I decided to continue with the project anyway. So this was born out of that challenge by Mercy Everin.
Thank you, Mercy.
And I took the challenge because Mercy used to have good eyesight. She used to be a high-flying air hostess with Kenya Airways.
So how has that, where have you distributed the books, the Braille?
The Braille book, I have given copies to Kenya National Library. They are very happy with the book. One of the things is I have a number of copies. It has cost me a lot of money to print this.
Question,
So what I'm doing is I'm looking for institutions which are willing to sponsor. So that we can print for the schools.
Absolutely.
Because as an individual, I'm retired. I don't have income to print.
What are the cost implications? I'm wondering. First, who transcribed it for you?
Actually, that's the other story. Because I went to the African Braille Center on Mombasa Road. And they transcribed it.
Did they charge you?
Cost me quite a lot of money, but no problem. But then I brought the book back to Mercy. I told her, "Can you read through?" Because I have no way of editing. And she went through and she found that the translation had been done sort of AI style. They have used the internet to do the translation.
So you could have done that anyway.
So it was not really reflecting my story so well. So she recommended that I go to Maseno or to
Maseno University
or Embakasi because they have got good transcribers there who can actually now transcribe my book. So I got in touch with Maseno University. I got in touch with the Hassan Samari. And Hassan Samari has a team. Dr. Abonyo, Dr. Tempera, and now as a team, they transcribe the book. So now it's a team effort, which means that what I got is actually fairly accurate. If you go through if you look at the back of my book, I actually have indicated that. So it was done by a team from Maseno University. I gave copy to Kenya Institute for the Special Education. They have gone through the book. They have again given me a very good report. So the product is there.
It's there. But you haven't been able to make money out of it.
No, I have spent all my money. I haven't even sold.
You haven't sold a single
because there are not many people who are interested with supporting the blind. I give a copy
very sad.
Copy to one of the bride, whatever. They haven't come back. So there's a lot of lack of interest in people who have got impairment.
Like, how much would one copy?
One copy is 25,000.
You would have to sell. You would sell it for 25,000 for you to make any.
No, I don't even make anything.
You don't even make anything.
No. 25,000 will not even just cover my cost.
That is super scary.
It is scary.
Wow.
But you see why it is scary. Producing this, you can see that book.
Yes, it's huge.
It's huge.
Can you see it?
You can see that book. It's huge. The materials are very expensive.
Yes.
That's the first thing. So it costs a lot of money to produce it. Two, I have to produce a print copy also.
Print copy for
the same book.
Because
some of the people, the parents can read.
Right.
So if a child is reading
so
this,
it comes as you sell it as a pair.
It's a pair. On top of that, I have had to do an audio of it.
Okay.
So that the blind person reading this can tell what the story is about.
Wow. Okay.
Can you see why it's very expensive?
Yes.
And 25,000 does not even cover my costs. But at my age, you don't have to cover costs. But what I hope is that you can get some of the generous institutions.
Yes.
Instead of just sponsoring golf.
That is true.
They can sponsor something which is going to add value to people with disability.
That is so true. So even if somebody comes and say, okay, I'll donate 5 copies of this book to take a school for the blind, you're happy to do that because you only have to reproduce these.
Yes. All you need is you get a group, for example, and you're able to raise 25,000, and you can buy one and actually donate it to Thika School for the Blind.
Yeah.
There are 33 schools in Kenya.
Yeah.
Another group, they do the same, whatever. If you can raise money, you can get, we have 65 libraries in Kenya.
Yeah.
Each of them could do with a book.
Yes.
So this is a kind of partnership which I hope people in industry can actually partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe from those people who do not understand Kikuyu, Guka, although it's written not with a double G, but Guka, it means grandfather in Kikuyu. So Guka, from the village to the city, how did we get to this title? I love the title, but it's so long.
The title took a lot of permutations, so to say. Then and now, the way it was.
Yes.
You know, I finished the book and realized I don't have a title.
Okay.
And I have to give it a title.
Yes.
Then and now, whatever, it kept on permuting. Then, as a brilliance, a star of genius, in 2021, I went to the launch of this book. From the pulpit to the heart. This book, I actually helped in the preparation of this book. My family did. I, my wife, and my daughter. We are the ones who organized the whole of this book.
Okay.
So after the launch, it is part to me. This is from the pulpit
to the heart.
Yeah. My book is from the village to the city. So it actually can take a very similar title.
Yeah.
And that's how it was born.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. It's very descriptive, actually. Very apt. And the cover?
And the cover, this I had a designer, but of course he would never pick my thinking. So he fell out with me. Because he wants to pick things from the internet and mash them together the quick way.
The temptation to take shortcuts.
Yes. So after a number of permutations and disagreements, I told him I have to get another designer who resonates with my thinking.
Yeah.
So I went to the illustrator, the man who did the illustrations in the book. These illustrations have been done by Aran Juma, who is just a freelance artist. So I gave him my concept of my title, and he was able to pick my thinking more clearly.
At the back, somewhere here, you've got live life forwards, but understand it by looking backwards. Now, when I read that, it's I looked at it from a literary point of view, because and also from how your book was written, because it was a very back and forth thing. You'd start telling us about you walking to the shop, and then suddenly we are back to a time you were being sent to the shop, and I found that very fascinating, the way you were able to join the two. So that statement, is it just about your writing style, or is there a deeper, a more profound meaning to that?
Well, it's partly my writing style,
Yeah.
because I was writing my story
Yeah.
in a contemporary setting. But I also think there's no other way you can look forward unless you look backwards. My mom was born around 1913. I have a granddaughter who is 6 months old. How old will she be in 2100? She'll be about 77 years old. It means in my own life, I can see 200 years or 170 years.
I like that.
I can see myself in 1913 when my mother was born.
Yeah.
I'm here, and I can still see my siblings and my
Your
grandchildren in another 70, 80 years. So unless we look back to understand where we are, there's no way we understand where we are going. And that is actually one of the tragedies of our modern day living. You go to America, African Americans, they have a challenge because most of them don't know where they came from.
Yeah. Tell me a little about your indigenous tree planting thingy.
Actually, trees are my second hobby. Way back in 1980, I used to live in Buruburu. That's where I started living as a young man. And we were living in a court. It's called the Kabuko Court. And there were no trees.
There were no trees in Buruburu back then?
No, there were no trees. And each
They
court...
had cut them down?
No, there have never been...
There never were trees
No,
there?
there were never any trees.
Right.
So, most of the courts started destroying the environment. They would go and build their extensions and dump the soil in the common court. So in my court, actually, people started doing that. And I was a chairperson. I said, this cannot happen. We have to do something about the environment. So what I would do in the evening, if you dumped soil there, I would get young children in the evening, and we remove the soil and put it back in your compound. That way, everybody was forced to remove whatever they remove and go and dump it. But then I realized, why not also do something here? So I planted a few trees there. It was hard to get indigenous trees. I did. Of course, the same careless people brought goats and tied them. Trees died. I planted again. So I can say that is probably one of the genesis of that. I went there the other day. I found that my trees are still there.
Your trees are still there. That is awesome.
There is no other tree which has been planted in the 40 years.
What?
Not a single tree in the 40 years. Over the years, from that time, I have been planting. But also, my wife is a nature lover. So she's also very instrumental in that. We have a family plot, which is about 1.5 acres. And I said 1/3 of it, we can turn it into an indigenous forest.
That is super.
Instead of putting houses everywhere, we'll have an indigenous forest, and we started. That was in 2022.
How's that going?
And we started going around looking for trees. We went to Ashika, we went to Brackenhouse, we went to the nurseries in Nairobi, we went as far as
Bracken has a lot of those trees,
yes. So we actually were able to source different types of indigenous trees from various nurseries. today, that my small plot of 1/3 of an acre has over 40 species of indigenous trees.
Okay. Wow.
So within the forest, I'm also planting fruits so that they grow together.
Where can we find your books?
My books, they are available at Nuria Bookstore, downtown in Nairobi. They are also available at Bookstop, Yaya Center. But the most reliable source is me, because I keep them in my car, I put them at home, and you are never going to run short. My contact is +254, that is Kenya, 722 72 3329, or email Peter Nduati, CENG@gmail.com. And if you are not from Kenya, you can get it from Amazon and Kindle. You can get a Kindle version or a print version from Amazon.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. That's all from us today. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. Remember, you can watch previous episodes in this channel, and while you're at it, please remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for Cheche Bookshop and Cafe. Thank you for the amazing team behind Author's Feet. I am your host, Empress Ciku Mwaniki. See you next time. Bye-bye.